Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. It's our student support for our online community. We've got a lot of people registered today, which is absolutely fantastic. But what we'll do is we'll just give you all a couple of minutes to get settled in, and then we'll begin today's event. What I'll do, I'm just going to mute myself and whilst everyone's getting logged on. But as I said, we are here if you do need anything. We have got the Q&A function on the webinar as well today. So if you've got any questions at all, please do just pop them on there throughout the event, and I can put that to our panel. And again, we do understand that not everybody could make today's webinar. So if you are watching back, again, just any questions with regards to anything that's covered in today's webinar, please do just email me. You can send any questions through to studyonline@manchester.ac.uk. So I said that's for those watching back, but anyone who's on the webinar today, please just use the Q&A function. Okay, looks like everyone's getting settled in nicely. Okay. So what can you expect from today's event? Well, as I said, it's all about student support for our online community. So we put a bit of an agenda together. So I'll go through the introductions. I'll cover student support at Manchester, and then I'll hand over to our guest speakers today, and they'll cover supporting you. And we'll also look as well at the challenges of online learning. So the webinar today is really for anyone who's either considering studying with us online, or even if you are currently a student with us, we really hope that you take some information from today and that it helps you. So as I said, please do any questions, email them through on the Q&A function, and I said if you're watching back, still send them through to studyonline@manchester.ac.uk. So just a brief introduction from myself. My name's Lisa. I'm one of the course advisors at the University of Manchester. So I manage a portfolio of online courses, and I work with students who are going through the application process. I also work closely with our marketing team as well, just to ensure that all the information going out to students is accurate, and we create the best sort of student journey for you. I know obviously that we've got our guest speakers today, so I'd like to hand over to Elsa and Hannah just to introduce themselves.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'll start by introducing myself and Elsa, as we both do the same role. So we're both from the Student Support and Wellbeing team, and our title is Senior Student Support and Wellbeing Assistant. So what our main roles are is tending to meet with students to assist with wellbeing issues and signpost to specialist services. That's a big part of our role. Usually we would tend to do that a lot on campus, but obviously within the last year we're doing that a lot more online. And I know all of you guys are online students, so you could meet with someone from our team as well if that was something that you'd like to do. And in terms of the specialist services, we're going to be going through them a little bit later. Me and Ailsa also monitor the student support inbox, so we get lots of queries about lots of different things, whether that's academic queries, and we'll signpost to academic support, or we get a lot of wellbeing queries or students who may need some extra support. So if you do ever have any questions and you are ever in need of extra support and you're not sure where to go, you can email us, and you'll see the email address there underneath the heart. We also produce and promote proactive wellbeing resources and messaging, and we're going to be going through a little bit more of that later on. Is there anything you'd like to add, Ailsa, about what we do?
Yeah, we're also the named contacts for care experience and estranged students, just to mention that as well. So students that have been in care at any point in their life, and estranged students are those that have lost contact with their family or have no contact with their family. Also, just to mention, it wasn't intentional to wear the same jumper as Hannah. We've got a bit of a uniform going on. Yeah, that wasn't the plan. But
I feel left out. I feel like I've been left out of this. Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. So just looking at student support, at the University of Manchester. So when you study with us, you really are joining a thriving online community, and studying online certainly does not mean that you're studying alone anymore. We understand that there's a bit of a stigma attached with online learning. You tend to associate it with, somebody sat on their own at a computer, no interaction. That's certainly not the case when you join us. You are joining a really thriving online community. There's a wide range of support and resource support and services which are available for you, and we often find that people aren't always aware of the additional benefits of joining us. So that's really what I want to cover today, so that you've got full awareness of all the resources and services available to support you. As I said, it can be support with everyday wellbeing concerns to help with specific mental health difficulties. So as I said, we'll provide you with the tools that you need to help you along the way. There's always someone that you can talk to as well, so no matter your difficulty, as I said, Hannah and Elsa will go through shortly all the services which are available. I'll just go on to the next slide. There we go. So when it comes to your wellbeing, as I'm sure many of you know, a small action can make a big difference. So as I said, when you do join the online community, we just want to make sure you're aware of all of the support available to you. So what I'll do, I'll hand over to Hannah and Elsa, and they can talk you through some of the fantastic resources we have.
Well, thanks, Lisa. So yeah, you'll see here we've got a pretty long list, which I'm not going to go through in too much detail, otherwise it'll be a bit overwhelming for you. But just to give you a bit of a whistle-stop tour, we've got a range of ways we can support you in the studying online. So they're on a bit of a scale here. So there are things at the lower end of the list that can support you with everyday wellbeing issues, right through to that more specialist support should you need it. So just going through them, first off, we've got the 6 ways to wellbeing there. This is an evidence-based way of helping yourself live well and enjoy an increased sense of well-being. So as the name would suggest, there are 6 ways, and we'd really encourage you to familiarise yourself with those ways. So just to go through them really quickly, there is connect, give, take notice, be active, be healthy, and learn and discover. We've got some of the images there you can see. So we encourage students to incorporate a couple of ways into their day to support their well-being. So just to give you an example, you could take a 10-minute walk as a study break, which would fall under be active, because that's you moving, that's you getting outside. But it could also fall under take notice. If you leave your phone behind at home and try and appreciate and take in your surroundings and be mindful, that would fall under take notice. So all of this information is available on our student support website, which you can see signposted at the bottom. So if you wanted to read more into the 6 ways to wellbeing and how you might incorporate those into your day and different ideas, please go there. The next point we've got is wellbeing resources, self-help resources from the counselling service, and My Learning Essentials. So these can all help you implement the 6 ways to wellbeing into your everyday. We'll go over the wellbeing resources in another slide in a wee bit more detail, but we also want to highlight, as it says there, the counselling service self-help resources. So they're on the counselling services website. So you literally just search counselling service University of Manchester, and there's a tab that says building your mental health expertise. So on that page you'll find a range of apps that can support you with mental health issues, as well as a range of audio downloads, which are really, really good. Now I do them quite frequently around things like relaxation and mindfulness. It can be just a really short 3-minute practice that you can put into your day, which relates to take notice. Everything relates to back to the 6 ways to wellbeing. But yeah, different apps, different downloads. We've got some NHS guides on there, which is the healthcare provider in England, and they're around a range of topics like anxiety, depression, etc. So definitely familiarise yourself with those. We've also included My Learning Essentials in there, which is a library resource, but we thought it would be quite good to signpost as well. So not necessarily to do with wellbeing support, it's more on the academic side of things, but there are some fab resources around things like procrastination, which is kind of linked to wellbeing. And there's also opportunities on there to revise online with peers. If that was something that interested you, they have a library drop-in as well if you were struggling to search for any resources. So yeah, that's kind of the second tier of the support we offer. Moving on, so as Hannah mentioned, we work in the student wellbeing team, and we can offer advice through email, through online chat, and we also offer Zoom appointments. So if you're not sure of where to start, then you can drop us an email, and our contact details will be at the end of this presentation. And it says there your school as well, so you can speak to your study advisors as well, who'd be able to advise you on more course specific issues. But if you weren't sure, where to go, which service to use, who to go to, then me and Hannah are your points of call. So the last kind of 4 bullet points are more specialist support, so I'll just run through those as well. So we've got the new 24-hour health assured mental health helpline, which only got launched last year in October, November time, so it's pretty new. So if you would like to speak to somebody outside of the university, because it's run by an external company, or outside of core university opening hours, then this is perfect for that. And we will go over it a little bit more in another slide. So there's also the counselling service, which is a university service, counselling mental health service. So they provide confidential one-to-one appointments for all students, and they can do these online. And they also have a brilliant range of workshops around things like mindfulness, managing anxiety, combating low mood, which are all online, really, really accessible. I'm going to one at 1 o'clock on mindfulness. Been to it before. It's honestly really, really fab. I'm not just saying that to promote it. It's really, really good. And then we've got the Disability Advisory and Support Service, who are there for all students who face issues like sustained mental health issues, dyslexia, as well as physical issues that might impact on your studies. Finally, getting to the end now, you might want to access the online mental health platform Togetherall. This allows you to interact with people in a supportive environment. It's almost like not a social media platform, but kind of like that for people that are suffering from various wellbeing issues. It's just a really supportive peer-to-peer environment, which is entirely confidential, and it's completely monitored by trained clinicians. And they also have a whole range of courses available, including on sleep and anxiety and things like that. And we've just got a wee quote here. So working through one of the courses really opened my eyes to how many negative thinking patterns I got into. And I think that's a really, really salient quote as to why that service is really brilliant. So for a lot of people, it can be really difficult to seek that help, and whatever difficulty they face can almost become a habit. So please know, I hope I've got that across to you, that there is a lot of support available for you should you need it. One thing might not work for you, one thing might. So you might not like Togetherall, that's completely fine. You can try out the 24-hour mental health helpline and app. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Ailsa, for that really detailed whistle-stop tour of all the support services. That was really good. Yeah, so all them support services and resources that Ailsa was just talking about then, you're probably wondering, well, how can I access all of these and where can I find them? So you may or may not have already been on the student support website. So the link for it is at the bottom of the slides and in that slide there as well. So it's just studentsupport.manchester.ac.uk. And on the student support website, you will basically find everything that we've been talking about today. So you'll be able to access support services like the counselling service, the disability advisory service, also them online mental health support platforms such as Togetherall. You'll also find information on things like academic support as well, so not necessarily wellbeing related, but we kind of view wellbeing as a holistic thing, and if you're kind of struggling academically, then that's going to impact your well-being. So we also include information on academic support, so things like mitigating circumstances. If you ever need to make an appeal or a complaint, you can access all of that information on how to do that via the student support website. So yeah, basically anything student related. If you've ever got a query, we suggest that you go on the student support website first and see if you can find the answer to that query. And if you can't, then obviously you can get in contact with either us if it's wellbeing related, or your academic support as well. So just to highlight a few of the things that are on the student support website, we've just kind of picked 4 things from the homepage that you might be interested in. So we've got a link to the 24-hour mental health helpline that Ailsa was just talking about, that you can access anytime, and that's as well as the helpline. There's also the platform that Ailsa mentioned as well. We've also got information if you're ever in a crisis or an emergency situation as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got loads of information on academic support as well. And then something else that I'd really encourage you to have a look at is the wellbeing events calendar that we've highlighted there. So every month we update it with different workshops that are available from the counselling service. So that's like the mindfulness workshops that Ailsa mentioned earlier. Also workshops on things like managing low moods, managing anxiety, managing unhelpful thinking habits, loads of different ones, as well as the workshops from the counselling service. There's also loads of workshops from the student union. So I had a look earlier, and I think there's one coming up next week, a singing webinar that you can join. So it's a great way to connect with other students as well who might be doing different courses, and who might be on campus students if you wanted to connect with other students. There's also workshops from sport, so there's like yoga workshops that you can join, Pilates, HIT webinars. So yeah, I'd encourage you to have a little look on the student support website, where you'll find all of the self-help resources that we mentioned earlier, the access to specialist support services, and also loads of workshops that you can book onto, and obviously they're all online as well, and will continue to be online as well as we move forward. Thanks. So yeah, as an online student, you have access to the same tools as our on-campus students to help you feel good and live well. From daily planners to help you manage your studies alongside your career goals, to budget planners. We'd encourage you to take some time away from your studies and read through the student support web pages to see what works for you. And this is what we tell a lot of students, really. It's sometimes hard to know exactly what might be the thing that will help you if you are going through a difficult time, or if you do just want to improve your well-being. So it's often a case of trying different things and seeing what works best for you. So yeah, you don't need to worry about setting up an account. It's all available at studentsupport.manchester.ac.uk, and you should also be able to access the website from Blackboard. So I think there's a wellbeing tab, and then that links to the student support website from there. So a couple of things that we've highlighted there are the goal planner and the daily planner, and as well as those planners, we've got a whole range of other planners, workbooks that we've made, and some external resources as well that we link to. One that I'm thinking of that's probably quite relevant to you guys is a Looking After Your Wellbeing online workbook that you can access. And then we also link to like things like, sorry, one moment, the NHS workbooks as well that Ailsa mentioned, which are on a whole range of topics such as bereavement, health anxiety, postnatal depression. So if you are going through anything difficult, you can access, there'll probably be an NHS workbook for whatever it may be that you're going through at the time. And you can also share these resources with friends, family, and something that we hear quite often from students is they'll access the support services or the resources to help themselves, but they also find that they're able to learn techniques that they can pass on to other people, and feel free to share them resources to friends and family as well if you feel that they might be helpful for them. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you very much. I must admit as well, I know obviously we've been planning sort of the webinar, and we've worked together collaboratively on the slides and the information, and I must admit, even I wasn't aware of some of the fantastic resources you have available, you know, even for sort of as a staff member, because you never really have to take the time to navigate around different areas. You know, you're sort of so focused on your own job and you know what you've got to focus on, you don't sort of take that time to actually look. And it's only when I was actually, you know, doing quite a bit of research into the support available, things like you said, the NHS workbooks, you know, just to help with small things like your posture, you know, because we all, my sort of setup at home is by no means, it would definitely not pass any sort of regulatory checks, you know, in terms of like the desk is at a certain height, my chair is at a certain height. And I think after, you know, looking at some of the resources from the student support web pages, it's fantastic what's available. And like you said, it's so easy and accessible. You don't have to set anything up. You can just, you know, go onto the website and start navigating your way around, which is brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much for going through all those resources. As I said, we're going to do some questions at the end, so we've got a couple coming through, so we'll clear those up. Just now looking at, I suppose, the challenges of online learning. You know, we understand that deciding to join our online community is exciting, but it absolutely does come with its challenges. And a lot of these challenges we've put down, you know, they're things we do face daily, but they can really be heightened when you're adding studies to already a hectic life schedule. some of the points we've noted down, they're actually comments that have come from our past alumni and our current cohort of students as well. So things like time management, you know, keeping to schedules and not jumping from task to task can be challenging. Certainly feeling overwhelmed. You know, a lot of our students, as I said, they are in full-time work, or they have other commitments outside of that, just family lives, day-to-day duties, and then having to manage that workload can absolutely leave people feeling, you know, overwhelmed. You can feel like, you know, you're sort of drowning in work. So again, that's definitely something that, you know, we do come across, and again, something that we'd like to, the sort of services we have available will help you manage that. Self-motivation, I am definitely guilty of this, as I'm sure we all have been, you know, especially for our students, you know, after a busy day of working, finding the time to sort of sit down and begin your studies, it can be extremely daunting, and it's probably one of those tasks you think, I'll just put it off till the next day, you know, I'll just put it off till the next day, and then before you know it, it then leads to that feeling of overwhelm because you think, I've left it too late, I've got all this work to do, you know. So absolutely, this is something, you know, we do come across, and it's something our students often say to us. Even little things, again, you know, like technical issues, you know, we all have them. We've all had them on Zoom where, you know, a computer crashes, or you've got issues with your microphones or your speakers, and it seems very sort of a minute problem, but when you're busy and you're, as I said, trying to juggle everything else that's going on, these little issues can seem massive, and they can be extremely frustrating. And especially because, I said, a lot of us are now working remotely and studying online, you know, the issues that you encounter, there's stuff you have to often resolve yourself. You can't call someone from IT to come and, you know, have a look at your laptop for you. And as I said, you know, just other commitments, again, you know, we understand that, you know, people who are studying online, they are usually in full-time employment, they have absolutely, you know, family commitments, they have social lives, whatever, you know, it's just finding that time to manage everything. And as I said, you've got the daily planners which are available, which you know, I'd like to would help you with that on the student support webpage. And the last point in particular, I again definitely feel like this is, I don't know about yourself, Elsa, Hannah, if you've both had this, but definitely feeling disconnected, because as we're studying, we're working online, I do miss that sort of face-to-face interaction with colleagues, you know, and whether it's just to bounce ideas off each other, to talk through a project, or just to really, you know, keep you motivated and focused. I definitely feel that not having that face-to-face time, it can certainly leave me feeling disconnected. And then, you know, you'll have a great Zoom with somebody and have a good catch up and you'll be back on track again. But it's absolutely something that, you know, we would expect people to feel, whether it's, as I said, just when you're working or when you're studying. Just again, just looking at ways around this. As we do understand it's a challenging time for everyone at the moment. So as I said, you know, ways that you can maybe help to tackle some of the challenges would be connecting with other learners. So as I said, even though you are studying online, you're not studying alone. You'll have access to discussion forums, so you can interact with your course peers. You know, you can talk through subjects. We've set up some Facebook groups of some of the groups for some of the courses as well, just to allow that extra interaction for you. And it is really important that you do, you know, join the discussions, and, you know, you do book that quality time with your course academic, because that's all going to help you with connecting and obviously not feeling as disconnected with everything. So as I said, there are resources available as an online learner, and in particular, I know that, you know, feedback from you know, students is always they really enjoy the discussions with their course peers. You know, it's great to bounce ideas off them, and obviously just to talk about how you're finding, you know, certain assessments as well. A key point, again, which I know this applies to everybody, even if you're working or studying, just day-to-day life, is routine and structure. Now, I know everybody's, again, guilty, maybe logging on a little bit later, you know, not sort of keeping to the same routine, but it is important that you build this into your day-to-day lives. So try and set up a dedicated study space as well. And again, that's really important, so that you don't feel like it's imposing on your home life. So whether you've already done this through work, or whether you're new to online studying, maybe you're still going into an office or a work environment. If you are starting to study from home, please do set up a little environment where you can close the laptop down at the end of the day and walk away. It's important to have that separation from your private life and, you know, your home life, and then, as I said, your office space or studying online as well. Again, trying to, I suppose, that keep that routine and structure. You know, we often find what works well for a lot of students is they say when they join an online course, it's daunting to start with until they find that pattern or that flow of work. So whether that's, you know, you find logging on first thing in the morning works for you to get through a couple of hours study before you start your day, or maybe it's allocating, you know, an hour in the evening, or maybe it's a couple of hours blocking them out on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. It's important that you do find that routine and build that within your day-to-day structure when you are studying with us. Again, nutrition, we're all guilty of this. You know, it's hard. You've had a long day, you just want to, you know, order a takeaway and relax, but it is really important that, you know, your body gets the vitamins it needs to keep you healthy, so that it allows your brain to function, keep you focused. And again, it seems like it's such an obvious one, but you've got to stay active as well. You know, as I said, we've got some great resource available on the study online pages, as Elsa and Hannah have said, so please do have a look at that. Ways to get active, couch to 10k is it? I think that's something else we're offering. So again, that's another fantastic way that you can keep active and just build that into your schedule. And again, just supporting your body clock and daily rhythm. So as we know, sleep is controlled by biological, social and environmental factors. So regular breaks and time spent outdoors is so important. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Don't sit there for hours at your computer working away. You know, you do need to set break times to have that time away, go outside, go for a 15-minute walk. These little things really are important when you are studying with us. And as I said, even you're probably already doing them, a lot of you in your day-to-day jobs as well, if you're working remotely. As I said, for more information on any of this, please do look at our student support pages, and in particular the 6 Ways to Wellbeing, because that's just a fantastic resource for you. Aside from kind of the obvious things we've just talked about with regards to sort of what you can manage, online tools through the university when you study with us are also available. So what we actually use at the university when you join us to study is a system called Blackboard, and you can access all of your courses online throughout the virtual learning environment. You can view course material, you can, as they communicate and arrange individual consultations with your course tutors. There's the discussion forums, which are set of fantastic opportunities to liaise with your cohort. It's also a great opportunity to network as well, so you can build on that, which is important for a lot of our students. And there's lots of you can get the recordings from your tutorials on there as well. It's a really fantastic learning environment, so you'll have full access to that when you join us. And we also provide access to a system called Audacity, and this just allows you to record live audio and sessions from your computer, tablet or mobile handset, which again is really important. So, you know, if you need to record an event, you can record it through Audacity and just watch it back at a time convenient with yourself. And again, as we all know, Zoom, it was something I'd never known before, and all of a sudden last year, and now it's become part of my day-to-day life, as I'm sure it has with everybody else. So, you know, you'll have a Zoom account, which then, as I said, you can arrange your face-to-face individual consultations with your academics, and if you want to, as I said, you know, liaise with your cohort, arrange, you know, catch-ups with them, absolutely do it. You know, it's a fantastic tool. Even though we're all zoomed out a little bit, it's still a great tool for us all to be using. So as I said, you'll have full access to that as well. Another important thing, aside from everything that's like your Zooms and your online tools, when you do join us, you do have a support network around you to help you through your studies. So my role, as I said, is to work with students who are considering studying with us. So that's whether you want to talk through the course in a bit more detail, you want to talk through an application process, you want to send me your CV or your degree transcripts, you know, to look through, to check eligibility, absolutely fine. I'm here to help you at the start of your student journey. When you do join us, you'll have access to a course administrator, and they deal really with the day-to-day queries and direct you to further resources and support as well. So they're on hand to help you through the course. So as I said, any questions, you'll have a point of contact you can go to with that. You won't just send an email through to an inbox hoping that someone picks it up. You do have that support. As I said, we've got an amazing academic team here at the University of Manchester. So whatever course, you know, you do decide to join us with, or if you're already studying, as you know, the academic tutors are extremely passionate. They want you to succeed. They want you to enjoy studying with us. They want you to enjoy the course. So that's where you can then, you know, arrange those really important individual consultations with them to talk through. assessments or to address any concerns you might have. Again, you'll have a study advisor, and again, they're just on hand to offer more of the technical support during your studies. So I said, if you've got any issues with any of the systems we mentioned, you've got a point of contact you can go to speak to about that as well. As said, I think one of the most important part of online learning is your course peers. So yes, you're not on campus, you are an online student, but again, there's lots of opportunity to engage with your cohort. Now, I said, if that's the discussion forums or Facebook groups, or you just want to set up a group yourself to arrange one-to-ones with them, it's important that you do that, and you'll have the opportunity to do that, as said, through Blackboard. Again, we've got the fantastic student support team, and they're here to obviously provide guidance to all the amazing resources available to help you, as an online learner. And again, just aside from actual support from the team, you're also going to have access to the university library and the full access to all the learning materials, which is fantastic. So there's lots and lots of support available for you there, whether it's, as I said, support through the resources available with the student support team, or whether it's actual support from people around you when you study with us. That's it, I think. So now we've got going to Q&A session. I know we've had a couple of questions come through, which I'm going to put to Elsa and Hannah. Let's have a quick look. So I've got a question here. It says, I'm not based in the UK. Can I still access these resources?
Yeah, I'll take this one, Lisa. So absolutely. So most of our resources, like the planner, the 6 ways, are all available on the student support website whenever you need them. You can even go and have a look at them now if you wanted to. And all the services I've mentioned as well are available to you during university core hours, and they have the ability to offer appointments online. So the counselling service, for example, would be able to give you an online appointment. But just to highlight again the availability of those 24-hour support services that are available to you, so Togetherall and Helpline. So if you wanted to call the 24-hour mental health helpline at all, but are worried about international phone charges or something like that, you can message the advisors using the live chat function on the app that comes along with the helpline, and they can give you a call back, so you wouldn't accrue any charges. It would be on them. So yeah, that's available to you. But absolutely, if you're not in the UK, there's so much support available because of the amount that's available online to you, so you won't be disadvantaged in any way there.
Wonderful, thanks, Elsa. As I said, we do have a huge international student community as well, don't we? It's in excess of 190,000 students. So as we said, it's absolutely still, whether you're not based in the UK, it doesn't mean you can't access the same resources as said our UK and on-campus students. Okay, another question just says, is the wellbeing support only related to studying?
Yeah, I can take this one, Lisa. So absolutely not. No, we want to really get the message across that the support that's available at the university isn't just for any studying issues. It's for if you've got any life challenges or personal circumstances that you're going through that you could do with some extra support on as well. And it might be that, things are going well and you just want to improve your well-being and do things like introduce the 6 ways to well-being into your day. And if you want to speak to someone about how you can do that, or if you want to read about that, then like we said earlier, you can access all of that on the website. We think that academic support and well-being support are just as important as each other. So whatever it is that you need help with, there will be someone you can speak to, a service you can access, or an online resource that you can use as well.
Thanks, Hannah. Another question just says, again, I think this is the same for all of us, but a lack of motivation seems to be a bit of a problem for me. Can you suggest anything to help?
Yeah, I can take this one as well, Lisa. So yeah, as you say, I think a lack of motivation is something that we all struggle with, and I think it's quite refreshing to know that other people are feeling that way as well. And it's a very, very common issue that we see present to us by students. So I think Lisa touched upon a couple of things earlier that can help if you are struggling with a lack of motivation. Definitely creating a routine and having structure to your day can really help. So you can use our planners that we have online to help you do that. We've got daily planners, weekly planners, monthly planners, and just simple things like trying to get up at the same time every day, trying to go to bed at the same time every day. Just generally looking after your well-being can really help with motivation. We've also got a specific page on the student support website. You just need to click through. I think it's under looking after your wellbeing during difficult times. So that's a section on the website that we've developed in the last year, due to the current situation that we've been going through. And there's a page on there all about motivation and focus. And one of our colleagues from our team has actually made a video. And if you click through, it goes through to YouTube, and you can watch that video on there. And there's loads of tips there about how you can look after your well-being and sorry, I can't think of the word. If you are struggling with a lack of motivation, basically tips for dealing with a lack of motivation. And something we also always say to students is just be kind to yourself as well. There might be some days where you're really struggling to focus, and it might just be that you can't do your studies that day, and that's okay. There's always tomorrow. So yeah, just being kind to yourself, practicing compassion, and also accessing support if you do need it. They're all things that can help if you are struggling with motivation. Thanks.
Wonderful, thank you, Hannah. I've had another question come through, which I just like to be able to help with this one. It's just, as a new student, at what point do we get to know our academic tutor and course advisor? So depending on what course you're interested in, on which of the online courses, and if you just email studyonline@manchester.ac.uk and just put in there the course of interest. So if you're maybe looking into the course and you've got some questions, or you're working through your application and you'd like some help, if you just email, as I said, studyonline@manchester.ac.uk, we'll be able to come back to you with a guidance on that. And then when you do join the course, you'll have access to your course academic once you're formally on the actual course. So again, then you can arrange, you'll have a bit of a greeting with them, and then it's up to you to arrange, as I said, those individual one-to-one sessions as well. So I hope that's answered the question. But that's pretty much all we've got time for today, unfortunately. It's been fantastic. I just want to say a massive thank you to Elsa and Hannah. Thank you so much for joining us today and pointing out the resource available.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
And as we said, it really is, please do have a look, at studentsupport.manchester.ac.uk. There is so much information on there. Block some time out, block an hour out of your day, just to navigate your way around, to get familiar with where everything is. Because as I said, even though, you're an online student, you are by no means studying alone. You've got this access to the same support as our on-campus students. So please do make sure you're utilising that. But thank you, as I said, to Hannah and Elsa. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and also if you're watching back, please do send any questions through still, and I can make sure that's sent over to Hannah and Elsa. But we really hope you've enjoyed today's webinar. So it's bye from me. And yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.